welcome back into TF. My BF for TF is here, sustainability specialist, Phil.
Got it in one.
How about that?
Well done.
I've been trying to work on something new. Actually, I haven't done any new things until you just walked in today, but
That's the best time.
I think, is it work?
Yeah.
You're my TF BF?
I'll take it.
You'll take it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right back at you.
Phil, Grupe here, not to talk about our intro to the show, but to talk about sustainability, and a huge thing you've been working on is this sustainability plan.
Yeah.
And it got referred out at the recent council meeting, so we're about to get to adoption of sustainability plan, huh?
We are, well, we got wood right here to knock on. We're about to get to adoption of the sustainability plan. So, yeah, last night, the Tuesday Common Council meeting, they included the sustainability plan referral in their consent agenda, so it's going to be referred out to the Resource Conservation Commission. That'll be discussed at their March 10th meeting. Common Council will then discuss it the following night, March 11th, and then we're, depending on whether there need to be any substantial edits, I'm hoping not, because we've already run this through quite a bit in the draft stage with staff and taken it to committee of the whole in August. We're anticipating that we'll have a final vote April 8th. At that council meeting, and then after that we'd be able to actually start implementing the sustainability plan. And we spent a lot of time over the winter kind of putting together an implementation plan for the sustainability plan. So the goal is that we'll be able to hit the ground running pretty quickly and have our sort of prioritization of what we want to tackle and when.
The plan is made up of a lot of different things. So if you're like, well, what does this actually mean? If you were to sum it up, and I know you've talked about this many times on our interviews, but if somebody is just tuning in for the first time, how would you sum up what this plan will allow us to do?
So the two biggest takeaways, and you didn't prepare me for this question, so these are the two biggest takeaways that immediately popped into my head, and I might give you a different answer in 10 minutes.
We'll just keep working at it.
Number one is that Fitchburg has already been doing a lot of sustainability things since before I came on board. But one thing that has been lacking is a comprehensive look at all of the different ways we could approach sustainability and prioritizing what are the most important actions for us to take. So that's one big thing that the sustainability plan will do is instead of me just deciding once one project ends, which is the one I've heard about the most, or what's the one that I want to tackle the most. This actually gives us a little bit more of a kind of a quantitative-based prioritization method for these actions. So we can do things that are more impactful, but that also we feel like are going to be easier wins for the city with less effort. And that's really what we want to do is target the low-hanging fruit first. That's the first one, is that priority ranking of these actions. The second thing is the number that sticks in my head from all the research that our consultant Pale Blue Dot put together is that if we were to implement everything in this plan, now this is things that there are municipal actions, there are staff actions, there are things for the residential and commercial and industrial community in Fitchburg to take ownership on. There's things that we're going to partner with, Chamber of Commerce and community-based organizations and other partners. This is a lot broader than just the city staff. But if everything in this plan is accomplished as intended, the result would be about a 30% decrease overall in emissions for Fitchburg in the next 5 to 10 years. So it's a pretty ambitious plan. It is things that all definitely can be done, and it's a question of are we able to commit the time, the staff, the resources to make it happen. But it's a plan that if we're able to accomplish everything in there, the impact would be pretty tremendous.
I like it. I always think of any of the plans that are laid out as good roadmaps to, where you want to get to, and in between, whatever you get check off as you go along, and prioritize what that is. And the thing is, it's a working plan, which I think most plans that anybody works on is you're always working at it. So you get to go back in and you can keep updating. You keep it active, which is also a big thing. Like it's not just lay it out there, but now let's take it forward and keep updating it.
Yeah, as time goes along, we're going to realize, hey, these two things that we put in there, we thought they were a really good idea. It turns out we don't have the resources to handle them. We don't have the expertise. It's not actually something that's appropriate for a municipality to work on. This is more of a county or state thing. We're going to cut some things off the list. We're going to add new things in that we say, oh, this is actually a great project for us to take on. Oh, it wasn't in the plan. That's fine. We're not, exactly like you mentioned. This is not carved in stone, but it is setting a guide, kind of a set of guardrails and and checkpoints for us to hit as we go along. It's not that this is not a binary, we succeed or we don't. And we really are just trying to make sure that we can achieve as much of it as is possible. And like I said, it'll take a lot of partnerships, and it'll take a lot of investments. And places where we can't invest, we won't realize those successes, and we have to be aware of that.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty extensive plan. You can check it out at our website, fisherwi.gov, on the sustainability page there. And we'll look for final adoption coming up in April.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. Other events coming up, I can't believe we're already talking about this, but the Spring Shred and Recycling event, it
feels like spring this week, weirdly.
It has. I mean, my walks outside this week have been phenomenal. Compared to like the 10 degrees or less, I tried one of those like really cold days to walk.
Oh, yeah.
My face was like bright red.
I would like to be a winter cyclist. I have not been so far. Very comfortable biking in today.
It was easy.
Yeah.
Quote unquote.
Quote, yeah.
So the Spring Recycling and Shred event last year was, I mean, people showed up.
Last year was great. We were concerned in the fall because there was some scheduling overlap we couldn't avoid with the Alabama-Wisconsin football game. We still had tremendous turnout. Both of the events last year were great. We've had just really good responses from people bringing in confidential paper that needs to be shredded and recycled, and a lot of different electronics for recycling. We're doing that again Saturday, April 12th from 8 to 11 a.m. I always forget the exact times because I show up early and stay late to clean up, but 8 to 11, I believe, is the times we always have.
Don't worry,
here.
You're actually seeing it on the screen right now, and the appropriate time is right there now where Phil's pointing. Anywho, maybe it could be. Poor Nick is going to have to go
here?
back and
Can you just make it dance all around? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so Saturday, April 12th, there will be our biennial e-recycling and paper shredding event at Civic Campus. So the entrance is going to be on the easternmost entrance on Lacey Road, kind of closer to the parking lot and community center, and we'll have signs and volunteers to help direct people.
Yeah, and again, this is the shredding. I mean, it's good to get rid of private documents and whatnot. Do it appropriately. Yeah. The electronics recycling, though, top notch. And make sure you remember too that it does cost extra for some items. Always warn you before you get down here, but nevertheless. It's just, you're kind of proud when you look at all the stuff that's brought in. You're like, yes, that's the way I look at it.
It's nice to feel like you're making a difference, and this event definitely does.
All right, Waterway Cleanup is another event that you can help out with. You, Phil.
Just me.
Just you, only you.
Please, not just me.
No, we are looking for volunteers. That's coming up in April as well, and a great opportunity to get out there and clean up the waterways. Why is it important, first off, to keep those waterways open? And somebody be like, dude, why ask that question? But seriously, it's a big deal.
It is a big deal. A lot of different reasons. Primary ones have to do with just human health and environmental health. More waste that's in the waterways, the more stuff you're getting leaching into the water. You're getting creeks and streams backed up, and then they're not serving the role intended in our local watershed. It's very easy to think about the water that comes out of our pipes as one thing, and the water that's all around us in creeks and lakes is another thing, but these are all intrinsically connected, and the cleaner our waterways are, first, the less expensive it is to treat them and get them into our homes, but second of all, it's just there are human health impacts when we are fishing and swimming and recreating in these water bodies that are, can be full of trash and chemicals and things. We want to keep those as clean as possible.
I think this time of year too, we just had a big snow melt, so if you look into those stormwater areas, there's a lot of water there, and that just moves stuff around. So if you think of the trickle effect of where it started from and where it's got to get to, it pulls in a lot of stuff, unfortunately. And so great time to get in there and help out. It breaks up into teams, and you get around the city. It's a good cause, so if you can help out, we want the volunteers.
Yep. Yeah, and we'll have details on that on the city website.
Springtime, the plant
like
sale.
Spring, yeah.
I know, this is like the spring episode. This is great.
If you're somebody who really likes starting plants from seed, whether it's vegetable gardening or landscaping, your flower garden, February is a great time to start thinking about that. Start planting seeds indoors, but also just thinking about what you want to plant outside, even if you're getting starters that are already in a pot in kind of a cell. The warm weather is going to be here before you know it, and give your plants a head start by kind of having an idea of what you want to get out there. So the jumping off point from that is Dane County does a native plant sale every spring. Dane County, I believe it's the Ripple Effects Department in the Land and Water Resources Department. They have a native plant sale that is open through March 18th. I don't remember the dates on this one, but UW Arboretum also always does a native plant sale, so that's another really good one to look at. And there's some other organizations in the area that do native plant sales as well. I think Olbrich Garden does some plant sales, some other places. But
choose from 50 native plant species, pre-selected garden kits, pollinator kits, downspout and rain garden kits, too. Not only can you get the native plant, like you can load up on some pretty cool stuff. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But native plants are good.
Native plants are great. We love native plants. Native plants are adapted to our local climate patterns, which means they should require less irrigation. That saves you money. It saves you effort. Once they're established, less watering needed. They deal with the kind of ebb and flow of rain and drought that we get in this part of Wisconsin. They also are much friendlier to the local wildlife. The birds and insects that live in this area natively, they adapted to these flowers, these plants, and so it's just something that's a much better habitat, source of food, source of shelter for the critters we got around here. If
you're somebody like me who's like, what will survive if I plant it type of thing, this is where I would choose to look first, because you're right. It's like, it's meant for this area. It's to be, work in a lot of different facets. So, what a good way to start. If people want to stay up to date on what's going on with you, Phil, through the Green Newsletter, or want to learn about the plan, or are just curious what you're putting in the website, where can they find you?
Go to the Fitchburg website and search for Green Fitchburg. There's a Green Fitchburg page. As the sustainability plan gets adopted and we start working on implementing it, I'm going to be making some more updates to the Green Fitchburg site as well, based on recommendations from that plan. Try to make it a little bit easier to navigate and have more and better resources in there. So check out Green Fitchburg. And
well, as we move along too, we'll get to share the parts of the plan as you start cracking into it. So it's going to be so exciting to share some of that stuff. All right, appreciate the time. We'll look forward to see you here in the near future.
Yeah, happy late winter.